questions to ask throughout a campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on even deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch along, still the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South they flying. Keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Good evening, everyone. My internet is acting up, so apologies if I sound mad, but this is Transfer Weekly, episode 8, live with you once again, and discussing potentially Odsonne Edouard's replacement. Now, before we start, we have to obviously say a massive welcome back to our boy JC after he spent a bit of time away for his honeymoon. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Spent a good week away, but it turned into 10 days. If you work at CrowdStrike, you are a waste man because you stopped all flights moving in the whole world. So I was stuck in a foreign country for many days. But I'm back. And it's good to be back because we've got a lot of stuff coming to you for this season, and a lot of new things to maybe spice up the channel a bit more. And you might have already seen the change in thumbnails and stuff, so we've already got stuff rolling out as we go.
100%, and obviously big up to you, JC Henry, for the work that you put in behind the scenes. Now, the big question, I don't know if you want to answer this now or later, but will Transfer Week be returning to pre-recorded content?
Yes.
Easy answer.
Well, listen, that is your baby right there, so we are not going to get in the way of that.
And I'll tell you why.
I'll
tell you why. It is too long as a live stream.
Fair shout. Dad, how's it going?
Yeah, all good. I finally got internet today, so I'm not hotspotting anymore. So I'll be fully present, and I won't be dropping out anytime soon.
Fair dues. Nicky?
All good here, man. No complaints. Yeah, just enjoying a bit of the sunshine today. And yeah, looking forward to discussing the topics today.
And Nate, work's finally let you have some time off. It's good to see
Bro,
you.
I lie. It's crazy, but yeah, man. What can I say? I'm actually able to make an appearance on Eagle Eye Football. I know people were thinking, did he leave? Did they get rid of him? They tried to get rid of me, but nah. But I'm glad to be back, and it's good to see everybody back.
Who tried?
Let's try to run the agenda.
Are crazy. Right, before we get started with the updates, just quickly, big up the dog. Hope we're good. He said, got the whole 5 aside. Oh, I read that so wrong.
Yeah, I was like, yo, wait, what?
Oh no.
Don't worry.
Yes,
Dan's going to court later on for this. Dan's going to court.
Oh my
Got
god.
loads of evidence. I'm getting bailed out. I don't care.
JC, now that you're married, you now know who the boss is.
Yeah, still me.
And Vibes, yeah, trust me, like I said, I read that so wrong.
I thought it said the other thing as well. I'm not going to lie.
Anyway,
Boy.
updates, disclaimer, we had to cut it short due to the massive changes from when this video was recorded to today. So it is a lot shorter than usual. Enjoy.
Moving on swiftly to Ryan Sessegnon. Palace remain optimistic of getting a deal over the line, but as of yet, no contract offer is on the table, so there's no indication that he will or will not sign with the South London club. And finally, Matheus Soulé, the Argentine winger who's been linked with a move to Palace. It looks likely he's going to join Leicester City on a permanent deal. It looks like Palace have let this one slip out of their fingers, and let's be honest, it's not the first time we've let this happen, so is Dougie Freedman probably waiting for a better offer or a better option? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching, folks, and see you later. Up the Palace.
Told you it was a lot shorter. But Nate, Nate, bring us up to date with obviously Jez and Ozil.
Yeah, so the last I'd seen was that Luton were pushing to bring David Ozil to Kenilworth Road, but obviously it's now been revealed that Derby County have leapfrogged them into taking Ozil on loan, which a lot of people, from what I've seen on social media, are happy with. I think Ozil going on loan to Derby is probably the best thing for him because he wasn't getting many minutes. A lot of people wanted to see him break through, but I don't think he's ready just yet. So it looks like Derby County is his destination for the season. As for Raksaki, obviously the big talk was that Daniel Farker at Leeds wanted him because obviously Leeds lost, ironically, to Southampton in the playoff final, but now Southampton want Raksaki. I think they had a bid of, I think it was either £12 million or 12 million euro rejected by Palace. And then there was talk of a loan to buy deal, which Palace aren't entertaining at all. They strictly want to loan him out to ideally a championship club. So will it happen? I don't know. Obviously, Raksaki was at Palace the majority of last season, got injured in August and didn't feature again till April. And even then, I can't even recall the last time he played in the first team. So logically, it's probably the best thing for him to go out on loan. But, you know, is Raksaki really a first team player at the minute? That's really up for debate. I'm not sure if any of the four of you want to pull anything on that, but that's the last I've seen is that Southampton have leapfrogged Leeds into trying to get Raksaki on loan, and that Derby have leapfrogged Luton to get David Ozil on loan. So that's the most I've seen so far. But knowing the way social media works, it could literally flip on a coin.
No, absolutely. Listen, all the best to David, obviously in this loan. I think this is a championship side now, I believe. Derby, did they get promoted?
Yeah, he got promoted last season.
Yeah, so that's a good one for him. But let's talk Jez. I put out a poll yesterday actually regarding this because I thought it was very interesting. And like I said, in that I personally don't want Jez to go. But what is your hear me out figure for Jez? If you do have, if there's a figure ahead, JC?
Damn, you put me on the spot here. You know what? You know what I would say? I'd say just you've got to look around at other teams and what they're selling their young talent for that's even unproven. Like, I'd say about 25 million. It might sound crazy to value him that highly, but I think just seeing how like Chelsea are valuing Conor Gallagher at 60 million. And granted, he's a great player, but he ain't a £60 million player. But they're valuing him that high because he's going to be 100% profit. He's English, and he's come through the academy as well. I'd say about £25 million. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to get rid of him because I think that if you had a whole year out and Premier League teams are still wanting your services, there's something there. Yeah, 25 million.
That.
I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna say that I would accept 15, but with clauses. So I was kind of thinking along the similar lines of what Villa did with Philogene. I mean, effectively they just loaned him out to Hull for a season, really, and then with the buy-on clause, they're able to match
Archer.
No, Philogene.
Okay.
I mean,
Archer's got a similar clause, and that's sort of quite a good clause as well, no?
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's like the kind of thing that I would be thinking about, like if there was like perhaps like some sort of matching right or a buyback clause, or maybe even like a sell-on clause. I know with Philogene it was like 30%, so that's the kind of angle that I would go for. So then, even if he does come back very shortly, that's just effectively like a loan, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say no more than 15, 20 mil, purely because he hasn't really had much, if any, at all Premier League football. I know people might point out the English tax and everything, but you could argue, like JC, you could push the ceiling as high as maybe 25 mil, but personally, I wouldn't sell him. I think he still has something to show at Palace, but look, let's be real. We've been guilty in the past of holding on to players for far too long that probably should have been moved on. And I'm not naming names, but there's been a few players that were touted as the next big thing, weren't sold on at the right time, and then went on freeze. But I think if you are looking to sell him, I'd say anywhere between 15 and 20 mil, maybe 25 at a push for me.
Nicky?
Very much agree with Nathan there. Don't want to see him go, obviously, but if there was a figure put on him, I think 20 million is pretty fair. I think we would be looking for 20 plus, as JC said, going upwards of 25, a lot with clauses, as Dan said, obviously. We look at Liam Delap, who just recently left Manchester City to sign for Ipswich Town, and he left for 20 million. Barely saw any Premier League game time with City. I think Raksaki has had definitely, he's had his chances to progress, just maybe hasn't been given the trust or the position. But then obviously he's gone up against, the likes of Elise and Eze in the winger positions. So you're not exactly going to break in when those two are finding their amazing form that they had across the last season. Yeah, I'd say 20 million is probably my guess.
Yeah, for me, Nicky, you make a great point. Like you said, lots of Delap, I think, was it Mente from Newcastle? I don't think he saw minutes.
And Amari Hutchinson as well.
Yeah, they went for that 25 plus.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I'll say 20 million with first refusal and a 50% sell fee.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of 50% sell-on clauses.
Yeah, that's what we've got to do. My personal opinion. Anyway, last update, Nicky, women's fixtures.
The women's fixtures, yes. So, ahead of the brand new season for the WSL, which will feature Crystal Palace women's team for the very first time, the fixture list is out, and to say it's probably not been fair, really. So we start the season in September with 2 back-to-back London derbies, Tottenham Hotspur away, and then against the defending champions, the 5-time league women's champions who've won it 5 times in a row. That is 8-time WSL champions, Chelsea at home. And then, of course, in October, we have the game that we all are looking forward to as Palace fans. We face Brighton Hove Albion at home first. I think having that game at home first is going to be incredible. Of course, no news has obviously come out about games that will be featured at Gander Green Lane, also known as VBS Community Stadium, which Sutton United play at. Obviously, they're going to have a lot more games at home, seeing as they're now back in the National League after being relegated last season. But obviously, these bigger games will be featured at Selhurst Park. Hopefully, we will see a lot more games. We broke attendance records numerous times across the Women's Championship season, which saw us win the championship title. Obviously, the last game which we promoted broke the attendance record at a whopping 6.9k attendance. But yeah, we're hoping to see news come out soon that games will be featured at Selhurst Park. But hopefully, we'll see Chelsea women's face us at Selhurst Park. Definitely the Brighton game. But obviously, we finished the season out in May against Leicester City, and then away for Manchester City, which is a huge game. But yeah, a lot of teams there involved. It's going to be a difficult season for the women's team. A lot of outgoings. Haven't had any news about incomings yet for the women's team, but hopefully we see that soon. But yeah, there you go. September 22nd is when the women's season will start, and we finish May Sunday 11th against Man City away.
Nice.
Thanks, Nicky. Just very quickly, there was a comment from the dog. Who would you take on their day, Ratsaki or Malcolm? I'm assuming it's a unanimous Ratsaki, by the way.
For me,
Yeah.
it's Raksaki easily. And that's not, and that I don't want to. That's not a slight dig at Abiaway. Absolutely not. We've just seen more of Raksaki in the first team. Of course, Abiaway actually did feature in the Villa away game. But yeah, Raksaki for me.
All right, let's get into the main body of it. And I'm going to start with we're talking about potential Edouard replacements. Obviously, reports have it that Edouard will be allowed to go, as well as Jordan I, by the way. So we've picked like a few players that could be potential replacements based on the transfer fee or based on whether other clubs have said, you know what, you can go. And we will end up talking about the Smith Rowe saga and Ebbs, which we found out about today. But let's start off with Kelechi Iheanacho. Now, he's someone that I've actually said, when I knew that he was going to be a free transfer the following season, I was like, we have to keep our eye on this one. And I even thought to myself, sign him in January, because at that time, I already had it in mind that Mateta was gone. You know, how did it just changed? Mateta's our number one, but I think we need to get a striker in bad, because no disrespect to Eddie, I generally don't think he fixed the system. And with Mateta at the Olympics, he may actually now be a starting striker for probably the first 2 Premier League games. You know, so we've got to bear that in mind. Granted, it was Brentford away and then West Ham at home, which I think are 2 winnable games. If we don't have a proper gunman in front of goal, it's going to be quite peak. But Iheanacho, 27 years old, he is a free transfer. And this is why I think this will make excellent sense. If you can get 15, 20 million for Eddie and get Iheanacho in for free, then the whole system we're trying to implement will show that it's working really well. Now he's a striker who he's quite versatile as well, you know. He can drop into the 10 play position to play as a supporting striker. He can go away, Wolfie. Big up Wolfie, Forest Man TV. Hope you're well. Yes, I had to take my locks out because I'm getting it redone next week Saturday. Is that right? Thanks very much. But he is a striker who can drop deep, link up play. And you know what? It's something that his finishing is actually not too bad. You know, and I'm going to show some stats of it. Now, bear in mind, last season, I don't know if this was because he was on his way out or he said he didn't want to sign a new contract, but he didn't play that many games. So, it is the first set of stats. It is mad. Let me read this off the phone. So, obviously, looking at Iheanacho, 23 games, which amounted to 915 minutes of football last season. 915 minutes. Now, imagine every game's 90 minutes or so. Let's say 100, yeah? So, let's say it's 90 anyway. 10 games is 900 minutes. He's had 23 appearances, but only 915, which means he's not really had 90 minutes in him. And this image here shows he averaged 40 minutes per appearance, which shows Leicester were playing him, you know. Once again, whether that's because he said he's not signing a new deal, I don't know. Or did he fall out of form? Was he out of favour with Maresca? Don't know. But then you look at this, and I know Dan loves his stats. Scores a goal every 183 minutes, assists every 915 minutes, 6 out of 8 penalties. He's missed 2 penalties. But look at his output. 17th out of 564 players. Bear in mind, he's only played 915 minutes. And that's his goal rate rank, and his assist rank is 196th. I think that it basically means his output's pretty decent for the amount of minutes he plays. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. I'm pretty impressed by that. You know, I imagine if he was getting constant minutes and stuff, it means that he could be very effective. He's got decent dribbling ability. He's got an eye for a pass. And I tell you what, some of his teammates have missed sitters, by the way. So that's probably affected his stats as well. But that's a natural free transfer. What's your views on him, guys?
I think I really rate Iheanacho. I did a scout thread on the Eagle-Eyed Ball Twitter page. So anyone wants to have a look at some videos of him, have a look on there. But yeah, I agree. Like when I watched him for that, I found the same thing. Like he's able to drop it. He's able to drop in the hole. He's also happy to make runs behind the line as well. He's good. He's good at linking with the play, and he's good at finishing as well. So for me, assuming his wage demands aren't like crazy, for me it would be a no-brainer. Honestly,
I think with Iheanacho, as you said, he provides a lot of options. He's quite able to change position across the attacking final third. I think on a free, I think you just have to. I think he'd be great. He has got Premier League experience. He knows what the demands are. Obviously, it'd be a change up from Championship style play to Premier League style play. But it's all down to whether or not he fits Glasner's methods. I think because he is of a similar build to JP Mateta, I think it pretty much, I would say go for it because it's a free transfer, and if it doesn't work out, we might actually be able to profit upon that and maybe even sell him on for money. So I think it's worth the risk. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think there's any risk whatsoever. He's already done it in the Premier League as well, and we've already seen him.
Was it my internet? Or Nate's thing was just glitching.
I don't think he's moved.
I think it's your internet, Rich.
That's probably my side. All right, just double checking. I know my internet's terrible.
Yeah, he's already done it in the Premier League, and we've seen it before. Like he's had some crazy purple patches, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In this league, where he's just scored non-stop. And the thing is he does that once every single season. So granted, he might not be the consistent gunman, but that 2-month period, he's probably the most informed striker in the league, and he's done that for Leicester, I think, a few years in a row. Even when he was at City just before he left, like he was still shooting in goals, even though he didn't even get that much game time. So I don't think there's a risk whatsoever. It's a free transfer. I doubt he's going to be asking for very much money. But I would say that if you ask him, just going on to what Caleb said here, I'd have him over Broja all day, every day.
Yeah.
And also, we've done pretty well with free transfers lately, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Sam Johnstone, he was free. Vicente Gaeta, he was free. Lerma, he was free. So we know how to pick a good free transfer.
Kamada as well.
Kamada, yeah.
Good point.
Good thing.
Big event. We are going to discuss Sarr a little bit later, so make sure you're sticking around.
Good timing on that Kamada comment there.
Welcome. Hello, I'm Japanese. Please take care of Kamada. Looking forward to supporting this team. Well, welcome. Spread the word around Japan too. If you're based in Japan or if you're not based in Japan, spread the word regardless. We're looking forward to Kamada. I saw him against Charlton in the centre mid role. Sometimes even in DM, and he's techie,
Kamada looks so much. The thing is, though, he looks so much better in the 10. He looks so sick in the 10.
He does. We're not ignoring your transfer news. Can you behave yourself, mister? So according to Wolfie, he says that if Eze goes, we're allegedly looking at Morgan Gibbs-White.
Too expensive.
Yeah, for the
How many
fee
years
that
he
you
got on
went.
his contract?
Can someone check if Wolfie's on some substances? Because I don't see us going in for Morgan Gibbs-White. I know Forest might want to get rid of him, but nah, trust me, my guy, that won't happen. Gibbs-White.
I heard he wants to leave, which is interesting. Like Wolfie, how much is he worth at the moment? Like, how much are Forest saying he needs to go for?
They'll ask for crazy money because they spent crazy money on him.
Yeah,
I think
he should be going to a European playing team anyway, I think.
Didn't he?
Yeah,
I think if you ask
For
me,
like 40 mil.
As I said, crazy money.
I think if you ask me, if we're looking at someone to replace Eze, I'd look at a Blackburn guy. Can't remember his name. I think Ipswich are trying to sign him.
17 mil.
Okay,
Hey, that
definitely check if Wolfie's taking substances. Because
It's a good-
there's no way in hell anyone's paying
that
70
means
mil for Morgan
Ebbs is
Gibbs-White.
150.
It's a good thing Parrish ain't watching that because he would have seen that corner and had a heart attack.
I lie. Facts.
Hold on. Now he's definitely trolling because we're beneath his level, considering they finished beneath us twice. Just say.
Nearly got relegated last year.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He's rattled.
He is definitely rattled. Well,
Wolfie,
wear
you're
a hat.
talking about
What
70
do you have?
mil. You're talking about 70 mil for a clogger. Mate, give it a rest. That's like saying that Rory Delap's worth 150 million, mate. I know. Look, whatever's going on up in Nottingham Forest, man. No, you don't need to calm down. 70 mil for Morgan Gibbs-White,
My
mate.
guy Ali, he's trolling. Ali's a big troll. All right, well, let's
Should we get
move
back on
on.
track?
Dan, Dallinga, what do you have for us?
So here's another player that I did a thread on a while ago. He's a young, well, I say young. He's actually going to be 24 soon. A nearly 24-year-old striker who plays for Toulouse. He got 14 goals last season. And to be honest, he's kind of in a similar mold to Iheanacho. Like he's able to drop into a 10. In fact, when Toulouse played against a lower block, he tended to drop to try and find space and to link with players. But when they looked to counter-attack, he would actually be trying to run the channels, run the lines, and try and run in behind. And I mean, looking at his stats, he had an XG of 14.1 last season, and he got 14 goals. So to me, that suggests he's a pretty decent finisher. And even the season before that, played less games, but he had an XG of 9.8, but scored 12 goals. So in 2 seasons running, he's hit at least the amount that he should have. And and for me, he would be the kind of player that I think we would look to get in, who's then gonna
Absolute baller, by the way.
get Yaroslav Yakin.
Oh, God.
Oh yes, bring my boy back. He didn't deserve it.
No, please don't.
but Dallinga, he's a kind of player that I would like to sign, because then he's got a point to prove. He'll try and push Mateta for that spot. He'll develop as well, get better, and obviously if he does develop, then he could be a decent striker. And also at the moment, I don't think he'd be a lot of money because, I mean, he plays for Toulouse, who aren't like a well-known name. He did very well in the league, but he's 24 as well, relatively unproven. Just another one of those really. His contract runs out in 2026 as well, so we could potentially use that to our advantage. Obviously, kind of getting into the point where they're thinking about selling him if he doesn't want to sign a new contract. And yeah, that's the kind of player that I would look into. If you want a more in-depth kind of scouting report of him, it's on the Eagle Eye Ball Twitter page. Just look for Dallinga on there. I did a long thread on him.
Yes. If there was one player you would say he has a similar style to, apologies if you've mentioned this already because we did the comments, who would that player be?
Using someone that we talked about today, actually, I would say probably similar-ish to Iheanacho, just a bit younger. Good finisher. Is happy to run in behind, but is also happy to drop when there's a low block and stuff like that. That's what I would say. But he's definitely like a number 9 as well. Like he's very much like, he's going to lead the line. He's not going to vacate the space and not be a number 9. He's a solid number 9.
Yes. JC, this was a late entry into today's show. But I did see this one, to be honest. I don't know if we will ever be interested, but I think it's a good shot.
Yeah, so for me, I was looking around and then something dropped on Twitter, as it always seems to do, and I thought, you know what? This player was touted to be one of the elite players and sort of got swallowed up by a big team, in my opinion. And that is Youssoufa Moukoko. So basically, I've said this because there have been multiple places. So obviously, the sources at the bottom here, but this article or this tweet pretty much sums it up. They're open to selling at Moukoko if they hit the 20 million mark, and that's done by different sources. So you've got Sky and then the previous person. And also the fact that Dortmund have quite a few strikers at the moment. They've got Fulcrum, they've got Haller, and they've just signed Guru Sassi. So where the hell does Moukoko fit into all of this? He just doesn't. And
just on that as well, sometimes they play Adeyemi up top as well. All the time.
Yeah, they can do. So if you put it that way, he's 5th choice striker. And bear in mind, he's still 19 years old, German striker for Dortmund, and his contract expires in 2 years. So he hasn't really got too long left on his contract. This season, he's not really had anything to do. He's only had 4 starts in 20 total appearances. So he's not really had much time on the pitch, not really doing very much.
Wow. Oh boy.
Big up yourself, vibes.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's not had that much time on the pitch, really. He's only had 724 minutes this season, which is even less than Iheanacho this season. But he's still scored 6 goals, and he's only had 4 starts, which I think shows that even though he's not on the pitch very much, when he is on the pitch, he's only being used as someone to impact a game. Even the season before, not really used too much either. 7 goals. And it has been pretty well known with this guy that because of how everyone bigged him up, the media was on his side. He had Bellingham's PR before Bellingham did. But his injuries is the reason why he's not really being spoken about anymore. So last season he missed 6 games, which isn't the end of the world, but it's a serious injury in hamstring. 10 games missed the year before through muscle tears and ankle injuries, etc. And he has started playing professional football for Dortmund in the 2016-17 season. So since then to now, he's missed 62 games across that whole time frame, which is 2 seasons worth that he's missed.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Which is a lot. But what you need to bear in mind is if we're going in so hard on Smith Rowe, and granted that'll be spoken about later, he's got a lot more injuries in a lot shorter time frame. And bear in mind that his injuries have slowed down rapidly. So he had a season where he missed 27 games, and it's gone down ever since. So as he's getting older, his body is building into it, it's building up a lot more and it's getting stronger. So if it keeps going like this, let's be real, missing 6 games in the season and just being benched for the rest of it, that's not actually that bad when it comes to injuries. What does Michael Elise say his injuries for the last 2 years? I don't know, but I guarantee it's more. But for someone that they're thinking of £20 million, for someone that can play up front as a second striker, that he's never played on the wing, but I have seen him drift out wide. I have seen him pick up the ball from deep and dribble forwards. He's a striker that knows how to finish. He's got a serious left foot, and he's a different profile of striker to what we already have. He's someone that is blisteringly quick, can get in behind, and he can link up the play. He can dribble. It's almost as if he's like a winger that plays up front. You might think he's not strong enough, but he has fended off centre-backs and people like that many times before. And you just have to remember, he is the youngest ever Bundesliga goal scorer 16 years old and 4 days, which is
Yeah.
incredible. And also, even if you look a little bit further back to his youth career, he scored 127 goals in 84 games. How mad is that?
Yep.
That's crazy.
He certainly has been someone who is, as you mentioned, fell down the ranks at Dortmund. I remember when he scored against Bayern, and you just saw. Granted, it was a goal against Bayern, and you know that's the top level derby of the Bundesliga. But you just saw the yellow wall erupt, and you saw what it meant to him to score. You know, he comes off the bench quite regularly. But yeah, with the amount of strikers that Dortmund have brought in, it is probably time, I think, that they cashed in on him, which is a shame because I actually rated him as a Dortmund fan myself. I think he's, you know, he had a lot to prove, but obviously management, Edin Terzic wanted more experienced strikers. And yeah, with the signing of Guirassy, I think, yeah, I would say that I think if a club was to meet that 20 million euro target, it is going to be another Bundesliga club. He's very, very much built for that league, not pretty much for the Premier League. But you know, at that age, you can adapt. You know, anyone can really adapt. But at, you know, at the age that he is, you certainly would say that, you know, a player of his potential could do it in any league.
Yeah, and the ability to adapt because of how young he is means that potentially you could train him into playing in that number 10 role that Elise used to play on that right-hand side of the pitch. Because when he was a second striker, he did drift out wide, pick up the ball and drive in, which is basically what a winger does. But he also has the ability to play as a forward as well, to be an impact sub up front, let's say. So a few images quickly. Big shout out to, I can't remember what YouTube channel it is. I apologize, but there's a YouTube. If you go on to, I think it's the Bundesliga actually, the Bundesliga site themselves, they've got a video of his best moments. But here you can see him on the ball. He's absolutely spun a centre back, as you can see, leaves him on the floor for dead. Drives in. Remember, he's also on the right side as well, so he's driving inside. Loads up a shot, and then whacks it top bins. So he's able to pick up the ball, fend off defenders, and drive forwards. And also he's able to link up the play. So here we can see he's sort of on the left wing here, passing the ball inside to a runner. The runner passes it back, and he's made a nice little run to arrive late into the box, takes a touch, and is a very nice finish. So he's got the ability to score great goals, make chances, and he can dribble as well. I think for £20 million, I think a household name like Elise going out, I feel like a household name like Moukoko coming in would satisfy the fans and also build up more hype around Crystal Palace as well.
I'm going to disagree with that comment. I just think he's just fallen down the ranks.
Yeah, I think 20 mil is a steal for a player like him, but it depends on if he wants to come to us. That's the problem.
It's 20 million euros, so 16 million pounds.
That is Moukoko. Other than Nicky, is anyone else feeling this or not really?
It's so difficult to tell. I mean, for me, and it kind of goes to this comment, like, in my head, I'm already thinking, all right, get like a Marcus Edwards in, or I know the Sule. I'm still having a little bit of hope that we return to the Sule thing. I think something just tells me we're just waiting to see what the final figure is. But granted, I know he wants to stay in Italy. So you got Edwards, you got Sule, you got
Noosa.
I don't think it's Noosa. That's gone quiet, which is annoying me. You know, and just onto this comment, like Edwards for 15 million, if we can get that over the line, even 20, take it. I was having this discussion with Tariq actually today on the way home. If Arsenal were to go for Gueye, which I don't think they will do because of his price, But if they were to offer Nketiah and money, I'm having that conversation. I love Mark, but if we're getting, let's say, like 30 mil and Nketiah for him, I think that's not bad, you know.
Can I just probably just burst that bubble? Arsenal don't need him though. There's just
To be fair, I did say I don't think they're going to go for him.
They're overloaded with centre backs now.
Yeah, Saliba,
All of their roster that are able
Kivior and all
to
them. Yeah,
Gabriel may end up going Saudi. Timber, I think, will go in midfield.
I mean, to be fair, Arteta does like playing with 4 centre backs, so
That's a good point.
And they've just bought that other one from Italy as well.
Yeah, Calafiori, yeah.
Yeah, they don't. I don't think they need him. Or that is saying about Mark, but yeah, I'm over the whole Nketiah thing. I'd have just if it were down to me, I'd have rejected that out of hand and not given it a second thought.
Mm. Well, Nicky, you can have your say now. Let's talk about Ismaila Sarr.
Ismaila Sarr, yes. Yet again, we find ourselves linked with this player who I think he's been a regular feature with Crystal Palace transfer news since his second season at Watford. So last year in the summer transfer window, he left Watford for Marseille. It was at the time an undisclosed figure, but ballpark puts it around about 13 million euros. So Watford took a huge loss on that, which was around about they purchased him from Stade Rennais for around about 30 million euros. So that's a 17 million euro loss for them. Featured quite a lot, obviously, for Watford across his time there, almost around about 4 seasons worth. A current Senegalese international as well, with 64 appearances and 13 goals for country. But then, of course, you have to consider him at club level. And so far, with his time at Watford, to take into account for English football, 128 appearances with 33 goals. His season just passed here at Marseille, 23 appearances, but only 3 goals. So it's very much considered that he has been linked to the club for years across different managers, across different leaderships. Dougie certainly has seemed like he wanted to bring him in, as Caleb says here. We need to understand why Dougie is so obsessed with him. But I feel like, yeah, Vibes, yeah, it's a good point. I feel like Ismaila Sarr, he's 26 years of age. I think he's probably past the point where he does want to come back to the Premier League. You know, he has said that, you know, he is interested in returning. Marseille have rejected our opening proposal. This is coming from the Palace way. Negotiations still ongoing. Sarr keen on Premier League return. However, a new proposal needed to be sent off. Obviously, we would play predominantly on the right-hand side of the pitch. So that's your at least a replacement then and there, which I think is critical before we start the season proper. We need to get that player in.
I don't think he's an Elisa replacement.
I agree.
I think he'll be a backup.
I think he's like a Jordan Ayew / Jeffrey Schlupp replacement, to be honest.
I think he's a bench option.
You made that good point there, Dan, of the Jordan Ayew. If Ayew goes, I feel like, say if as Rich said, he wants to see us return in for Sula, wait for proposals there. I think, yeah, Sarr could probably be very, very happily sat on the bench because he would get Premier League game time. I think what I personally would like to see myself is, and I know Rich is going to smile at this, I want to see Somerville and Sarr could say, if we bring them in, could be on a constant rotation. Say Somerville plays 2 games. After that, Sarr plays 2 games, and so on and so forth, to bring that bit of consistency to both players and see if they can get game time and see who comes out ahead. But yeah, that's Ismaila Sarr. Not a lot of news covering him. I think it's overshadowed with many other players and many other news articles coming out. But yeah, as and when more comes out, we'll put it out on the shorts.
Yeah.
I think 2 things. One, I think the reason why it's been rejected is probably, you know how we are. We're going to absolutely lowball them. We've probably told them 5 mil. You know, granted, obviously, Sarr's thinking as well, I need to go because they've just signed that absolute pagan. Not even going to give his name the airtime, but yeah, they've just signed him as well.
He doesn't start for Marseille as well. As Caleb just said, that was a point I forgot to put on my notes. He doesn't actually start for Marseille. So those.
I think he's trying to say he wouldn't start for us either. I think that's really what he's trying to say.
Yeah, but I think he was as a backup striker because he can play centre forward or backup right wing back. That's the only 2 places.
I agree.
I think that's fitting him.
I think he's just a utility, versatile. Yeah, you know, if we do have an injury, say Munoz does get one of his inevitable red cards, you know, he can. Or yeah, like I said, like up front, like if Mateta gets injured or whatever, he can play up front, and then and yeah, and also he's younger than Ayew and Schlupp. So I mean, I wouldn't want us because I think he's still quite a chunk of his contract left. So honestly, I wouldn't want us to see us pay more than if it's more than say 12 million. I think that's a bad deal personally.
Yeah, just walk away in it. Yeah.
Yeah, walk away.
It does depend heavily on how much these bids are.
So so considering the fact that he did just sign, obviously last season for Marseille, his contract, I believe, does not expire until 2028. So that is going to be a rather large payout required from us, which I think is probably why the initial proposal was rejected. I would say Sarr is probably going to be lower down the shortlist for players coming into Palace.
Absolutely. Just a few more comments quickly. What's your price tag for pay? By the way, we were linked to a couple of days. Oh, for real. We're looking at anything from 65 million, I reckon.
After that Euros, I think his price tag's gone up a bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, 100%. But
that
it's
team,
annoying
that the tournament slap another 5 million on there, please.
Well, he has to go this year though because contract.
Yeah. So if somebody wants him, they're going to have to pay top dollar, which suits us because it's about time we started making money off our better players and not letting them go for free.
It's true. And I'm not saying that he's a direct replacement, but I've liked the look of Charlie Riyad at the moment, by the way. Like, he's very composed on the ball. James Rodriguez on a free. His wages would be stupid, though.
Because he was very hot and cold at Everton, remember? When he was at Everton, he was hot and cold, and we can't afford to have a player.
He was hot.
Yeah, but then when he was cold, he was dead.
I think
that's the thing.
Very fondly, to be fair.
Yeah, and so 65 million / 70 million pounds, by the way. Just so you know. Well,
Rodriguez for me, I feel like
a madness. Go on,
sorry. As I say, I think with Rodriguez, we've already got our we've already got Kamada, so I don't know what I don't see what we would benefit by bringing him in, to be honest. But
yeah, because you could argue it's maybe squad depth, but not for me personally. But I suppose it depends on our outgoings as well, because there's no knowing what the plan is without Hamada, because a lot of people are saying he should be going out on loan this season because he hasn't particularly lit the world alight since he's come here. So I guess it depends on who goes out and then who we subsequently look to bring in. But at the minute, your guess is as good as anyone's. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But look, it could be worse. It could be worse.
Shout out, Will.
And Big up Will, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Man Like Will. He's just started up a channel and stuff. He covered a bit of
Big up,
football,
Will.
and we have been talking. He's looking to cover some content for both of us actually, as Palace are traveling to the United States for pre-season. So big up Will. And bear in mind, obviously Saturday will be live for the watch along against Crawley, and I'm going to do my very best to be awake for the 2 American games, because one's at 1 a.m. and one's at 12.
I will be doing them. Even though I've got work that same morning, I will be doing those watch-alongs.
See,
I did them last time.
The
The
you still
dedication.
have work, and like school holidays. Or you don't have that.
I work all year round, man.
Oh snap! Well, I'll join you anyway because we did them last year, and it was actually quite cool to do it. Like I remember leaving. I was on holiday. I was in Mallorca. I went down some random place just to cover the watch along. No, it was good. It was good to do.
It was good. We got a whole new group of. I think Tim was very happy because he's like, "Wow, let's stream at a normal time." What's this? I was like, "No, never again." Never
We
again.
were shattered.
Only in pre-season.
100%.
I think we finished
right.
the stream. I was like, "Bed, yeah, gone, bang."
Cool. We're gonna look to wrap up in the next 9 minutes. So, you know what, Nate? I'm gonna let you run with this one. Emil Smith Rowe.
Quite simply, £40 million for an injury hit player that only made 13 appearances. I think he only got 1 assist. He hasn't scored in 2 seasons. Arsenal are talking £40 million. As somebody once said, what are they smoking over there at the Emirates? Because if this is the Smith Rowe before he got injured and he was absolutely bagging, I'd say take it and run, because we all know Smith Rowe in his day can be a great player. But the last 2 seasons, for me, no, personally. I mean, I know people might say, if Eze does go, he'd be the ideal fit, but I think we can get better value in the market, particularly with the Elise money and potentially the Eze money. For £40 million club record signing, and he's a stick note as well. For me, it's a no. But look, I'm not saying I wouldn't take him. I think he'd be a great addition, but for that kind of money, I don't think it's a good option. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I look at it from not just the stats perspective, but like he hasn't really been able to break into the Arsenal team of late, because there's so many good players that play in his position, the likes of Martinelli, Havertz, Trossard, even Bukayo Saka. Is he really worth £40 million if you take away English tax? For me, no. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But from stats alone and the fact that he hasn't really hit the ground running, and yes, he's had his injury problems. I know people are going to say, oh, but he's a local boy, Croydon boy, this, that, the other. For me, no, personally. I mean, I think there's better value out there in the market. I don't know names offhand, but £40 million for Smith Rowe for me is a no.
Yeah, look, he's a very good player, to be honest. It's just can he stay fit? Now, there's another Arsenal player that I would actually look at instead, and that's Reece Nelson. Because
that one I'd be happy with.
15 million, you know what I mean? Like, not cheaper. But if we were to get Smith Rowe, I wouldn't be mad, because he is a good player.
I think we're looking at the wrong row, if I'm honest. We need to look at Jonathan Rowe, not Smith Rowe.
Yeah, no, the guy at Norwich.
That was mad. Right. I don't think anyone's gone in for him.
It's crazy.
That's gone very quiet.
He's only got a year left on his contract, I think, or 2 years left.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Dougie's kept it quiet.
But you could argue the old saying of no news is good news, though. Because if you're not hearing anything, it's probably likely that they're probably purposefully sending out that they're in for that player and that player, but they're really working behind to get other deals done that nobody else is watching on. Because everybody was in for Philogene the second that Palace and was it Villa were in for him. So you can see maybe that they are looking at a Johnny Rowe, because Johnny Rowe is a much better option than Smith Rowe for the money as well. Because if you're getting him for 15-20 mil, that's near enough half price to Smith Rowe. So for me, I'd much be happy with Johnny Rowe.
Yeah. And lastly, before we wrap up, guys, there is news that City are looking at Eberechi Eze. I believe the reported figure is £68 million. Granted, I don't want to see him go at the same season that Elise is gone, But £68 million, I don't think a club like us can turn that down. I really don't.
Profit, and it'd be proof that our recruitment policy is working. So, Rich, honestly, you put £70 million on the table, we'd be fools not to take it. Because let's be clear, that kind of money can massively overhaul the whole squad. And to see Eze go to a club like City where he can elevate his career, we can't begrudge him that. If it's to, with all due respect, a team closer to us in the bracket, we're thinking he ain't really elevating that high. But if he goes to a City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, you're saying, okay, I could see him doing well there, even if he goes abroad. It's like Elise. If he goes to, with all due respect, a team closer to us in the bracket, we're like, what the hell's he going there for? But he's gone to Bayern Munich, where he's going to elevate so much higher as a player and as a professional. So I don't want to see Eze go for the record. But let's be real. The whole point of us signing the players we've signed in the last 3-4 years is for this to happen. For us to say, how have we bought a player for 8 million, sold him for 45? How have we bought a player for 16 million, sold him for 68? Like, naturally, I don't want to see us sell out our best players. Don't get me wrong. But
I think
the whole point of us going towards this model was we're going to be making money off of shrewd signings in the market and turning those signings into shrewd profit. Because let's be real, that's one thing we've not been good at. Because look at Zaha. We touted him at 70 mil. He left on a free. The only player we made profit on was, I believe, possibly Dwight Gale. Because there haven't been many outgoings that we've made profit on. I think Dwight Gale was the only one.
Wan-Bissaka as well.
Well, Wan-Bissaka was an academy graduate.
Solo.
Yeah, I see what you said. Oh, Solo.
somehow we made money on Solo.
Yeah, Solo. Yeah, but just before we wrap up, Rich, can we just say R.I.P. to Dean Henderson's dad, because it was announced he passed away recently. So obviously, it's sad to hear that, and obviously myself and Nick, how it feels to lose a parent. So thoughts are with Dean Henderson and his family at this moment in time. But yeah, that's it really.
I think that's it. Guys, wicked appreciate you. Well, thank you for rocking with us the last 3 weeks on the lives. They will go to regular scheduling as pre-records because JC's back. He's got his baby back, and we don't want to get in trouble. But let's see. Upcoming this week, obviously, we'll get the shorts back up and running. This week, there's a unveiling tomorrow, I believe. JC unboxing.
Yeah, I've recorded it. I just need to edit it, so it'll probably come out tomorrow, Wednesday.
Okay, cool. Saturday we'll have the Crawley watch along, and then next week Wednesday we'll have the Wolves or West Ham we have first next week.
Wolves.
Okay.
Wolves.
So we'll look to cover the watch alongs for both the games in America, and also need to sort out my tickets for Nantes. So Bandcamp.
Oh, what?
And Dan, I watched back that thing at halftime. That was elite. That was some elite content, Dan. Do you guys know what I'm talking about, by the way?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I was away.
Well, we'll discuss it when we go off air.
Okay.
There we go.
I don't even know what I said.
Oh no!
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we'll get there when we go off air.
Don't worry, Pat. This is going to be discussed in a minute, off air. Because we need to get the dates in the diary for that and some other stuff.
Yes,
right, guys. Honestly, big up to you lot. Thank you for your support as always. Look out for the new stuff that's going to be coming and dripping through in the next week or so. But apart from that, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.
Eagles.
These rolls.